On this episode of the podcast, I'm going to talk about bringing back a word, going to a concert, and shoelaces? Yeah. Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Luke Who's Talking podcast with me. Luke, how are you doing out there? I hope you're doing well. I'm doing very well currently on this fine Monday afternoon. Spoiler, recording a show on a Monday, and you're listening to it on Friday. Whoa! That's how the internet works. Now, let's get into the first story I've got for you. Now, the other day, I was at a friend's house, just going over a few things, because I'm going to house sit for them. So we're going over how to look after their animals, what I have to do to look after the house, just a few odds and ends. And I can't remember, we were talking about something, and I said the word thrice, okay? Not once, not twice, but I said the word thrice, okay? Now, this particular person, they were very amused, and they were a bit taken that I said, that I used the word thrice. They were like, thrice, people don't say thrice. Whoa! So, I sort of talked, and I said, we've got to use thrice. Thrice has got to be a word that's used more. Instead of saying, oh yeah, I did this 3 times, you say, oh, I did that thrice. It sounds a bit more classy to me. You say, oh, well, I did that 3 times. Yeah. You say, I did that thrice. And also, I went to a party as well, and I was talking to somebody, and we were talking about words that people don't use, and also words people shouldn't use. And, squire got brought up, and I was like, oh, well, that's, good, bring squire back. And they were like, no, don't bring squire back. Don't bring the word squire back. And I said, how about thrice? How about we bring back the word thrice? Because thrice is a good word. Thrice is a very good word. It's a solid word. It is a word that deserves to be used more often than what it does, or than what it is. So this is a plea. This is a plea to you listeners on the podcast. Instead of saying, I did something 3 times, say, I did this thrice. It just sounds better, I think. Instead of saying, oh, yeah, well, I've been to... now I don't know what's something you do more than 3 times. Instead of saying, oh, geez, I'm not well, I've been to the toilet 3 times today. You say, well, I'm not well, I've been to the toilet thrice today. Come on, people. Let's bring thrice back. Hashtag bring back thrice. Let's get on it. Let's make thrice a popular word again, because there's words out there that don't deserve to be popular. Like when people say lit. Like, no. Don't use that word. Bring back thrice. Use thrice again. Come on, let's get behind it. Bring back thrice. Hashtag it on the internet, folks. Get behind it. Get behind thrice. And hashtag it thrice. Whee. Now, on Sunday. So for me, that was yesterday, but, whatever. Anyway, on Sunday, I went to a concert. And I went and saw... with myself, my brother, and a friend of mine, good friend of mine. He's in the top 3. He's not my best friend, Sam, but he's in the top 3. So it's a bit of an inside joke there. We went and saw the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and they were epic. They were just that. They were the best act I've seen, and they were great on stage, absolute showmen. But they're all they're like 50, and they're there dancing around. Old fleeted couple of handstands, and it was just crazy. It was seriously the lights were wild. Oh, Chad Smith is an absolute gun behind the drums, and oh my goodness gracious me, it was not going to forget it. Not going to forget it. It was really, really good. However, now when we got... Now, I will say, unfortunately, the warm-up act, she was quite forgettable because I can't remember her name. I can remember she was local, which is really, really, really great that they got somebody local to play and do their warm-up. I love that. That's awesome. But, she as I say, unfortunately, completely forgettable. I can't even remember what her name is. Sarah J, maybe? That sounds familiar. But, I mean, yeah, I'm a bit sad about that. She was really... But she knew, and she played on the fact that, like, thanks for coming, but you're not here to see me. You know, you are here to see the Red Hot Chili Peppers. And she was like, you know, thanks for being here and listening to me. And then she was like, shit, let's get the Chili Peppers out here. And everybody's like, yeah. Now, the concert, of course, was great. However, there was a hiccup at the start. So they come out and they belted out. Oh, what did they sing first? Can't Stop. They sang that first. And then there was a bit of a technical issue. So what had happened was, I believe, is that they have some piece of equipment they take with them, which caused a bit of a power surge. There's a bit of a power issue. So some of the gear on the stage wasn't going properly. So they stopped and sort of flitted around on the stage a bit. You know, they did get off and then come back on. It was about 20 minutes or so. The show was interrupted for, and then when they come back on, we're sitting there, guitar starts, and then you hear "Getting Born in the State of Mississippi." Papa was a copper, and Mama was a hippie. In Alabama, she was swinging a hammer. The price you got to pay when you break the panorama. She never knew that there was anything more than poor. What in the world does your company take me for? And then they just absolutely smoked it with Danny California. And everybody went crazy. And it was epic. And they were just champs. They were total bloody champs. And it was really funny. They were like, oh, after the show, we're going to go to this, little fish and chip shop that's like down the road. It's like, come on, get down there. And it was, they were like, you've put slight effort in to know what is you're in a small city on an island and you've put some bloody effort in to be like, yeah, we did this and we've been there. And I looked on their Twitter and they'd been to a few museums and they had been around the city. I'm like, that's great. They had just flown in here like Sunday morning, played the show and gone. They were here for, a couple of days beforehand. And I'm like, oh, my God, but they were guns. They were total legends. They were epic. And, oh, my goodness. I would 100% see them again. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, my. I'm totally hyped. And my brother, he was absolutely swooning over old Chad's drum kit because my brother, he used to drum. He was a drummer in a band when he was in high school. So when they pulled it was under a black cover. When they pulled that off, he was like swooning over it, and it had a cowbell. And my brother's like, every drum kit has to have a cowbell on it. You have to have a cowbell on your drum kit. And old Chad, he was on the bloody cowbell. He used it. It was like, it wasn't just there. He used his cowbell. Oh my gosh. It was epic. It was beautiful. Yeah. It was good. It was a good time. Oh, I'm pretty hyped. Now, before we actually got to the concert, there was a slight hiccup as well. So we had two hiccups. Now, me and my friend were on the way to my brother's house. My brother called me and he goes, he was going to put his Converses on, pulled them out of the cupboard, and only one of them had a shoelace on it. So he's like, can you go and buy me a shoelace? So we stopped at the supermarket. They only had black ones there. Now, you can't put black shoelaces on blue Converses. You can't do it. So we got to his place and said, we did stop at the shop. They had shoelaces, but they had black ones. So that was a no-go. Anyway, so a friend of mine's like, when we get to where we need to go, hey, maybe we could stop. We'll stop somewhere. We'll figure it out. We'll sort it out. Anyway, so my brother bought his shoes, and we were, driving down there. And he goes, the shoelaces on these shoes are quite long. And we're like, yeah. Anyway, so what he did is he took it off. And he goes, I reckon I could cut this shoelace in half. So then he'd have one for either shoe. So what he did is he doubled over his shoelace, threaded it on one shoe to see if it was long enough, or see if he could, decide if it was long enough that he could cut it in half. So, which he's like, yeah, I'll cut this in half. It'll be fine. Now, and then it was like, what can I cut? What can I cut the shoe? What can I cut the shoelace with? What can I cut the shoelace in half with? So there was a conversation in the car of like, we're going to use a key. What are we going to do? Now, my friend, he used to smoke, and my brother goes, you got a lighter or anything in the car? And he goes, no, I don't anymore. I don't smoke anymore. So the lighters, matches, everything are gone. I don't have anything like that in the car now. So it's like, okay, so how are we going to get this shoelace cut in half? So then we would then have two shoelaces, one for either shoe. So what we did is we stopped at a roadhouse and got something to eat. So my brother's like, oh, if we stop at said roadhouse, I'll go and get like a knife, plastic knife, cut it in half. I'm like, yeah, sure. Anyway, and then we thought, oh, well, maybe like they cook food there. Surely they're going to have scissors or something. They'll be able to cut it in half. So we got to where we needed to go. Me and my friend, we both had to go to the loo, so we went to the toilet. Anyway, but my brother went in to the counter and he got his shoelace cut in half. So he got his shoelace cut in half. So we went back inside. We're like, get your shoelace cut. He goes, yeah. He goes, the girl was like, why? She was a bit like sort of, you got your shoelace cut. But yeah, so we got his shoelace cut in half. He, shoelaces, he put them on his shoes, and it was 100% crisis averted there. So he had his shoes on. I don't think the shoelaces went all the way up to the top loop, to the top eyelet though on his shoes. I think the top two might have been left, because Converses, if you've ever worn Converses, they go up the ankle a bit. So I think his shoelace might have stopped sort of at the bottom of the ankle. But he figured it out, and that was, it was most definitely a ingenious solution to a problem that should never have existed in the first place. 100%. What do you reckon about that? Yeah. It was a ingenious solution to a problem that should never have existed in the first place. And now, I'll pose you a quick question. Have you ever had to come up with a solution, an ingenious solution to a problem that should have never have existed in the first place? Something like this: you've gone to get your shoes out, you've only got one shoelace, like one shoe's only got a shoelace, and then you end up cutting said shoelace in half, then you have two. Has something like that ever happened to you? If it has, send me a tweet, send me an email. I'd be keen to hear. Well, thanks everybody for listening. That is it for this episode of the Luke Who's Talking podcast. Don't forget you can tweet me, L_who's talking on Twitter. We're on Facebook as well. And you can send me an email, lukewho'stalkingpod@gmail.com. Hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any feedback, of course, let me know. And I will catch you next time.